All right, here we go again. I think this is the third time is a charm. We have been live all day with She Rises Studios panel discussions, author celebrations. Just if you haven't written a book, you should write a book. Or if you haven't written a chapter, you should write a chapter. But today, this discussion has to do with the book, Her Path to Entrepreneurship, A Journey of Courage, Vision, and Success. And I am joined with some very special contributing authors to this book. And we're just going to do a little deeper of a dive into the book without giving away all the details, because the idea is that you are going to go get this book and you're going to get it for yourself and you're going to get it for all your business besties and anyone in business. So my name is Hannah Olivas, and I'm one of the co-founders of She Rises Studios. I'm super excited to be here with you today. And I just want to play popcorn and have these beautiful women share a little bit about themselves, who they are, what they do, and then we're going to dive into discussion. So I'm going to start with Coach Valley Girl. You want to share a little bit about you?
Sure. Hi, ladies. So Coach Valley Girl, just because I went to school in California and picked up that name, it's been with me ever since. So my business coach's like, why not use that as part of your brand? So there you go. But I live in Washington State now for the last 14 years, and I love it here. I'm married, been married 31 years to my retired sailor. We have 3 kids, adult kids, and then we have 1 grandson that my daughter named after the bad guy in Star Wars. So Kylo is his name, Kylo, but it perfectly fits him. Let's see. And I own a company called Verse Marketing, and I help entrepreneurs streamline their processes, save their sanity, save time without the burnout, without being glued to their computers, using different systems, automations, and of course, nowadays, AI. So that's what I do. In my chapter, believe it or not, I kind of forgot the name of the chapter, but mine is Fear, Faith, and Freedom, and how I built the business of my dreams. And the purpose of that chapter is I basically talked about my struggles in the beginning. I've been in my business for 13 years and just talked about my struggles being an entrepreneur, a mom, a wife, and I was still working full time. And when I started my business outside of the home, so all of that chaos and imposter syndrome and all the things that come along with that, having to deal with nothing wrong with men or anything, but I dealt with a lot of opposition from male counterparts trying to rise in my corporate retail career, and then also my business, having doors slammed shut and people saying no and not making enough, just all the things. So my chapter is really about how to keep going, how to push through all of that, have a support system like this group here, the She Rises Studios, having friends and family, and then having the right mindset to just keep going after your dreams, no matter what, never stop being unstoppable. So that's what my chapter's about. And I've read a couple of the others. I won't say, give away, but the book is really, really good. Just like the other, this is my second time co-authoring with She Rises Studios. My other one was She Grows Stronger. So really good book. This one, if you haven't read it yet, read it. And I'm looking forward to finishing it. So thank you. I love being here. I love She Rises Studios. I will forever be a co-author, and you guys are going to help me finish my book that I'm writing. And then, I love it.
Wow. Well, I'm excited. You're writing a solo?
Yeah, I'm almost done with it, actually. I have a book publishing coach, but I opted to use She Rises Studios to actually do my book because I love everything that you're about. So not that he's not a good coach. I used a lot of his teachings in my book, but I love what She Rises Studios about. And so I made that decision a couple of weeks ago that I want you all to help me finish my book.
Well, thank you. And thank you for about you. And you're a pretty extraordinary lady, but you already know that.
Thank you.
Let's go to Ardina.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ardina. I am a licensed professional clinical counselor, and I'm the founder and owner of Calorie Counseling PLLC. I'm originally from Virginia, but I've lived in Texas, I've lived in Illinois and Chicago, and I currently live in California. I am relatively new to She Rises Studios. I wrote an article a while back, I believe it was for either a January edition for one of the magazines. And I'm so proud to be a part of this anthology. The name of my chapter is called First Generation Everything. I am a first generation college student. I'm a first generation business owner. And so my chapter really just highlights and talks about the grind, the mindset, things to consider as a business person, especially as a woman in business, and not really having any direction or anyone really show me what to do, but having mentorship, having good support. I talk about some of the things I've noticed about myself on my journey, especially since my 20s moving up, and what's helped me and what's set me apart from other individuals in the same field as me, and just trusting in myself, trusting in my support system, and just being there to empower and support others as they go on this journey. So that's a little bit about me.
Oh, thank you for sharing. And how many, like, when I'm hearing you ladies share, did anyone know what they were doing when they first said, I want to be an entrepreneur? Or did you just kind of like dive in and then like the belly flop happened?
Dive in.
All right. With that said, let's go to Corey.
Hello, everyone. I'm Corey Gallion, and I'm extremely excited to be here. So, I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney for 13 years now, going on 14 this year. And I recently, last year, started my own law firm, Gallion Law. And that journey has been amazing, but it was also surprising. So, my chapter is entitled Entrepreneurship, the Path I Never Thought I'd Take, because I really did not think that I would be an entrepreneur, that I would have my own firm, which is running a business. You know, even though I practice law, I also run a business. So, in that chapter, I share the struggles that I faced. I'm a deaf attorney, and so my disability always felt like a struggle and a hurdle that I could not, successfully acclimate to practicing law. But in 2019, I got my cochlear implant, which really helps me tremendously in the courtroom.
Mm.
So I share about that. I share also about an abusive marriage and how that also made me feel really small and hide in the background, and how that also contributed to patterns like a partnership that was pretty financially controlling and didn't really teach me about entrepreneurship.
Mm.
So after I left my marriage and my partnership, I was inspired to start my own law firm. And so that's what I share about in the anthology chapter. And I'm really happy to be here.
Well, look at you now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. That is a journey.
It
Um,
is.
yeah. Wow. Congrats to you.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
let's go to Hannah.
Hi everyone, it's so lovely to be here with you all this evening. My name is Hannah Darby. I'm a holistic healer, grief therapist, and I run Healing with Hannah across the pond in the UK. This is my third anthology with She Rises Studios, and I've got a few more anthologies in the pipeline and also a solo book, which I'm really excited about. My chapter is called The Unexpected Events on the Path to Entrepreneurship, because I still don't even think of myself as an entrepreneur, to be honest with you. It's not a word that kind of comes to my mind when I think of myself. My situation is that I developed some chronic illnesses that unfortunately meant I had to leave my previous role at work. But I'm really pleased that it did, as it's landed me here living my dream life, writing books, which is something I'd always wanted to do. Always wanted to be a healer and use my life experience that I've built along the way and my professional qualifications to help other people. And now I'm living that life and making my work for me. So my chapter is all about that it doesn't matter where you come from and what challenges you face. If you dream it and you want it, then you can make it happen.
Thank you for sharing that, Hannah. All right, let's go to Erica.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here too with all these amazing ladies. And I can't agree with you more about. I love She Rises, and just so grateful that God brought me to Hannah and her group. The team is amazing. My name is Erica Elliott. I am a licensed counselor of over 30 years. I'm a brain health coach, and I have 5 anthologies, a couple more getting ready to come out, and my solo book coming out soon. I wrote Embracing the Leap of Faith, where I actually share about my journey, the entrepreneurship of writing, because I actually had success in lots of different areas of life and felt very good in lots of different areas, but I had always wanted to write and really struggled with the imposter syndrome in that particular area. And as as you know, in the counseling and the neuropsych side of life, yes, imposter syndrome, the word itself is not, it's in its own a diagnostic criteria, but it is a cognitive dissonance that actually mostly affects successful people who feel a dissonance, like they can't do something in another particular field. And so many individuals who have that, it's like the research is like 70% of successful individuals struggle with imposter syndrome in one form or another. And it's interesting because they can be very successful in one area, but very blocked in another. And what I found with myself, and what I found as I've worked with other people with this over the years, because it's interesting when it came out and you started working, it really goes back to an attachment area. Something that somebody said to you, and for mine, when I had to clear a block, I felt like somebody was, I hate dentists. I don't know about the rest of you. I'll go because I need to, but I hate dentists. So had a bad experience with that as a child too, right? But it's like going in and having a tooth pulled without lidocaine, right? And that's how it felt getting into this field, because it felt like I'm not equipped. Who am I to be a writer, right? I'm not English wasn't my, strongest language. All these things like were set up in my head. And when I went back, it really dealt a lot with my childhood. And I had some difficulties with reading with my ADD. Didn't know I had ADD until I was an adult, but learning that, and then learning what that block was empowering to release. So I talk a little bit about imposter syndrome and how I got into writing. And truthfully, if you want to write, anybody who's out there who deals with anything like that, Hannah makes it amazing. Like her style of really guiding you and her team is bar none. And I just want to encourage people who are interested in this side of life with writing. Thank you, Hannah, for this place.
Well, thank you. And thank you for sharing. All right. Last but not least, Maureen, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Everybody's good?
All good.
It feels good to be here with Hannah. She's so strong. She's one of the strongest people I've ever met. And I've been around the block for a few decades, let's say. And I am just in awe of being in this room with you ladies, because it's a dream come true for me to have professional women speaking their truth and sharing it with the world, because our words are powerful and they need to be heard and said, not just for us to heal, but for future generations, and not just for women, but for the world in general, for men, for my cat. Okay. She listens too. So I just want to thank you, Hannah, for this platform, because I agree with Erica. Like, it's so easy. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm emailing when the last two not solo, but co-authoring anthologies were so close together. It was so confusing, and you're just amazing. I mean, just handling the technology, and I don't think I have ADDH, but I'm sure that we all have something, and I'm sure that we have sicknesses and illnesses and diseases, and you can put any label you want on us because we are women and we have done it all. And we've done it all because we've had to do it. So yeah, is there going to be some side effects for that? Yes. And I get chills when I listen to the other co-authors and solo authors when you guys bing me on Facebook. And I'm just so blown away at the intelligence and the creativity and the honesty that's coming forth in these books for us. And I love the fact that it's co-authoring because, when I was a teenage virgin child bride. I went to school. I grew up in Colorado with brothers, and I was an all-star athlete and a dancer. And I didn't really have any friends because I was an athlete and my mother was a disciplinarian and my dad was a truck driver. So he was gone. So I thought I was one of the guys. I grew up as a tomboy. I didn't know the difference. I grew up in a Mexican neighborhood and I thought I was a Mexican. I didn't know I was part Italian. Okay. You don't know when you're a child. So you can do what you want and say what you want. And there is no wrong unless you're going to hurt yourself or someone else. And you learn those boundaries. And here, the discipline that I've watched Hannah, this is my third chapter in my third book, and I've watched her grow and I've watched her heal and expand and get stricter with boundaries with us and deadlines and contracts. And I really love it because being a real estate broker, I was the only commercial real estate broker in a 9-man department. I looked at the residential department and I don't know, they were just like talking about bathroom wallpaper and being really catty. And that isn't why I wanted to be a real estate broker. I wanted to be a real estate broker because I wanted to invest. I wanted to make money. Yes, the dirty word money. Okay. I wanted to play with the boys because I grew up with the boys. All right. And so I did that. I worked 80 hours a week. I got my broker's license. I got a 2-year degree in real estate, a GRI. I have been awarded a Master of Real Estate. I've had a 51-year career in 6 states as a broker, entrepreneur, educator, mentor, consultant. Now I do consulting because I just don't want to go out there and hustle like I used to. And I have all this knowledge. And I realize when I speak to these women's groups that I co-host and host, that I'm at the top of the food chain in all humility. And what's really important for us to learn in this experience is our time is so valuable. It's not the money. It's not the beauty. It's not being a millionaire, driving a Lambo and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, none of that really matters. And so with my chapter, what I did is I put some lessons in there because I think it's better for us to understand why we do what we do instead of how we do it. And there is some advice in there. I do have some resources of books that helped me. One of my favorite is Think and Grow Rich with Napoleon Hill. I've had a lot of mentors. They were all men because there weren't any women in my field, and it's been a man's world. And it still is. I'm still working with major institutions and banks, and they're all men. And so I grew up with that mindset, but I have this experience in all these areas. And so I've been doing a lot of consulting nationwide for the last couple of years, but I like partnerships. I like investing, and you can reach me. I'm not an imposter. I am me. My name's all over the internet. You can find me easily. My contact information is in my chapter, and I have a weekly Zoom Thursday nights from 4 to 5 p.m. And we can talk about whatever you want to talk about, but the premise of it is marketing and networking. And I address this in my chapter. Those are very important, which is what we're doing here. And in the coffee, which is brilliant, Hannah, it's pretty heavy duty. Okay. Like if you're weak minded, I don't know about going to the coffee Connect Create from what I've seen so far. I haven't been in the coaching yet, but I can imagine, and I'm looking forward to it. But I just want you to know that you're invited. And we could talk, it's only an hour, but I've been with women until midnight because it's important for us to be human first, to be humans first, and then scale our businesses or unlock our potential. And my chapter is really about unlocking your real estate potential with expert guidance. That's me.
We can't hear you, Hannah.
Sorry. Kayla, I was saying thank you, Maureen, for sharing and for the beautiful words. Are you able to share, Kayla, a little bit about who you are and what you do? I'm not sure if she's with us.
Her mic's off.
All right. Well, let's do a dive into a little bit of discussion about the book. So, my take on this book and why I wanted this book to come to fruition is my hope was that women from all different types of business would share their path, like their raw path, and not like fluff it in any way, shape, or form. Like talk about the good days, the bad days, the in-between days, the just, like how many of you, since you opened your business, or like have woken up at least once and said, what am I doing? I don't want to do this anymore. Or why am I doing this? Or how many of us have woken up feeling overwhelmed, or feeling like we're pressured into hustle culture, or just all of those things. I think that it's in the title, Her Path, your path as an entrepreneur, because no one's path is the same and no one's entrepreneurial journey is the same either. And for me, I describe it as a roller coaster. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, then it goes upside down, and then we're back on track, right? But I don't think anything ever stays the same in business. And I think as our businesses grow and as we grow, it changes, it evolves. And that's why I love being an entrepreneur. I'll take the good, I'll take the bad, but I just love the journey, like the in-betweens, not the final goals, not hitting the numbers, but the actual journey itself. Does anyone else feel that way? Did you feel like that when you were writing? Or am I lonely over here?
No, I think writing
Spot
it seems
on.
like it's that's there because it reminds you of where you've grown. Right. I feel like, at least in my 50s, I can look back and go, oh wow, like I've really come a long ways, baby. And I hope this helps somebody who's even 10 steps behind me, but even young people who maybe like they're just on this journey and trying to learn, because it's in the entrepreneurship, you say that, like I remember as a kid, I started a business. I was selling what do you call them, cards, door to door Christmas cards when I was 8 to try to make money, because like I would find little ways, how can I make money, clean people's house, take care of people's, like I think sometimes you have these entrepreneurs, but it's like each step and stage, you learn something different and you learn something new, and and I agree, that beauty of the journey of the finding the gems.
Yeah, I feel like it's the meat and potatoes in the middle, and then like when you're as an entrepreneur, your business, you're a solution maker, right? And you're a service provider, and that's part of that beautiful path. Plus, look at all the incredible people you meet along the way too. Like, I remember when you and I, Valerie, did a live together, and we didn't really know each other, but man, that live was good, and we were vibing. That's so everybody go back and watch the live. But I just mean, like, being an entrepreneur in the path, like, you get to connect with so many extraordinary women all the way. Like, I got to hug and squeeze Erica in person, in the flesh. And like, you build these lifelong relationships. And that is the beautiful part about entrepreneurship. But let's talk about the not so pretty. Anyone want to share a not so pretty experience in entrepreneurship? All right, Corey, lay it on us.
Well, I want to start by saying, I didn't have a lot of background in selling or just any kind of business experience. So I feel like when I started my own law firm, it had to take like a crash course in business skills so I can learn what I was doing. I participated in a program that it's like an accelerated program where they teach business owners in the community. It's called Northside Accelerate or Accelerate Northside. And they teach business owners about owning a business, the things that you need to, know and watch out for. And I'm very grateful for that. So with that being said, though, I feel like one aspect that made it hard for being a business owner was the financial aspect. I'm a single mother of 4 daughters. And when I started my business, I started from scratch. I did not have a huge savings account, retirement, anything like that. So I don't have a lot to invest. And I know sometimes it takes investments to be able to build a solid foundation. Well, I have to do my best to work with the foundation I have, which is not much. So it's not easy. I think that.
Oh, we lost her for a second. Gotta love technology, right?
When it works, it's a dream. When it's not, it's a nightmare. And we're talking about the ugly side of business. Here it is.
Yeah, it can make or break you.
All of us.
Yeah.
It never fails. I think that's one of the part of entrepreneurship is like technology is changing.
Yeah.
And we're always having to learn something new. I look at it as a good thing and a bad thing. Like for me, I have a hard time remembering stuff. So when I'm learning, I'm like a big note taker, another part of my entrepreneurial journey. All right, ladies, we are coming down to the last 3 minutes of this. So I would love it if each one of you could just share really quick your biggest takeaway currently today as an entrepreneur, a little nugget that you could share to all the ladies watching who are in it, about to be in it, or ready to quit. So I will, I don't know, Hannah, you wanna take a stab at this one and start first?
Yeah, I can give this a go. I would just say don't give up. There's always, and even once you work something out, there's always going to be something else that kind of like another curveball that comes around and kicks you in the face. So don't take it personally, and don't try to reinvent the wheel. And there's so many other amazing women out there that you can learn from and that will support you. So you're never on your own, even though you're on your own, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. Thank you. What about you, Maureen?
I would say that as women, we give birth and that we're natural entrepreneurs. We create life. We don't do it alone. We know that part. Okay. But we're not talking about them right now. What I'm saying is the reward, the ugly side, the good side, all of it together, those are our babies. Those are our children. We created them. Sometimes you fail, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you don't make it, sometimes you're too sick. But the main thing I'd like to stress here is that we're creating it and that we are in control of it, and to never give up.
I love it. Thank you.
Mhm.
What about you, Erica?
I would say first get clear. What do you want to do? And then in the military, we had a saying when you're trying to figure out with weapons qualification is you actually would look at the target then and you would fire your weapon and then you would adjust your scope. So if you are off the target, then just adjust your scope. Tune in, go ask questions to somebody who's doing it, read something, learn something, take that leap of faith and do it. It's worth it.
I love that. Adjust your scope. I love that. Thank you. Miss Ardina.
I would say routine. I didn't know how important routine was. And even on the days when you don't feel like it, having a routine for yourself, especially at the beginning of your day, to kind of set the precedent for the day. So whether you do meditation, whether you work out, whether you pray, whether you read something, listen to music, to kind of get yourself mentally and physically ready for the day. Also knowing what your anchors are. And when I say anchors, like what are the most consistent parts of your life? Because being an entrepreneur is a very flexible and unpredictable experience. And so just knowing your anchors, is it your faith? Is it your community? Is it certain things that you do? And just the last thing is just being true to yourself and knowing yourself and being confident in who you are, because that is also an anchor to kind of help get you through the hard times. So I would say that those are the things I would leave with everyone.
Those are great. Thank you. Let's go to Corey. I was just asking the ladies if they could share real quickly something that you would say to a future entrepreneur, someone who's in it, or maybe someone who's ready to be out.
Thank you. So, if I had to answer that question, it's very hard because I've learned so many life lessons as an entrepreneur. But I think one of the biggest ones is establish and reaffirm your support system. You are going to need a support system because we can't do it all alone by ourselves. So many times I've needed my family members to help me with the kids or just to support me and encourage me when they see that I'm having a very rough day. So yeah, just thank them too. Like, let your support system know that you appreciate them. I would also say, it's okay to take up space, to reclaim your voice. Things like we all have life experiences that might try to encourage us to be small and just to hide in the background. But you have to constantly reframe your thinking and say, I deserve to take up space and show up. We are the face of our businesses. So we have to be bold and just keep putting ourselves out there.
Absolutely. Amen. All right. What do you say, Val?
Gosh, running a business, raising a family, and still making time for self-care, to me, that's the real definition of a modern day queen, which we all are. Um, we juggle not because it's easy. We juggle because we're designed to rise above anything. It's not about balance. I know everybody always talks about you got to balance everything. It's not balance, it's being bold, but being bold with boundaries. So that's what I would tell everybody. Just, set those boundaries, make time for you, make time for your family, have that support system, whether it's in your family, your friends, or places like She Rises Studios, and then just do you, boo. I say that a lot. Do you, boo.
I love it. Do you, boo. I think for me, two things I would say. Everyone get the book because there's so many great chapters in there with great experiences shared. Not like just that's number one. And number two, don't ever go into entrepreneurship expecting an insane amount of freedom. What you can expect is an insane amount of commitment and impact if you stick. Those are mine. So the book is out. Grab the book, read the book, buy the book, share it again and again and again. And ladies, thank you so much for spending time with me today. It was really good to see you all. And her path to entrepreneurship is available on Amazon. Check your favorite retailer. It gets delivered to your door. You don't even have to leave your home. That's how easy we made it. All right, ladies, congratulations to all of you. And thank you so much for being with me today. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.